So in order to process some of the stuff that I was seeing with women and children, I just I had to grab a pen and paper and start writing. So in my journey with writing, my writing was actually quite gritty and dark at first, but having God's redemption. And then as time went on, I got softer and lighter and, more hopeful.
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to a Writer's Day podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to Writer's Day podcast. My name is Ruth Douthit. I'm so glad you're here because I created this podcast for you, folks who want to listen to amazing, best-selling authors talk about their encouraging and inspiring writing stories, and to learn more about the writing craft. And so a Writer's Day podcast is for you. And I called it a Writer's Day because our days are so different than other people's days because we're always thinking about our story. We might see something on TV. We might hear something in a podcast. We might hear something in a conversation. And right away, we're thinking about our stories again. So that's why I started this podcast, because as a former writing teacher, I had a lot of things to share about the writing craft. And what better way to do that than a podcast? So welcome. And if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing, following me, post a review. I'd love to know what you think of this episode. And head over to my website at artbyruth.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter to learn more about my upcoming projects, like Book 3 in my Love and Romance in Italy series that's coming out this fall. So be sure and sign up for my newsletter. Okay, let's get started. She originally started writing biblical historical fiction, and now she's writing Regency romance. Jenelle Hovde is here with me today. She is an author and an illustrator. And I, of course, being an artist, really appreciate that she can do both. And she's here to talk about her new book, No Stone Unturned. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, kick back and relax as we listen to Jenelle talk about her new book. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm super excited to have an author who's new to me, but well known to you. Jenelle Hovde is with me today. Welcome, Jenelle.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Sure. I've seen you a lot on social media, and so this is a treat to be able to get to chat with you for the first time. So why don't you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself?
Oh, well, I am actually a homeschooling mom. I have 3 teenagers. Well, actually, one preteen who thinks she's a teenager. So that's been quite a challenge getting grade 10 and grade 8 and grade 7. We just finished up our year and all the tests were great. And I write full time and then I homeschool full time. And then I'm also an illustrator and do that. So sometimes my day feels a bit insane. I get up at 5 and I just like work through the entire day, but it's such a joy. I get to do what I love. And before that, I used to be an audiologist. And so being able to stay at home has been such a blessing. And my husband pastors at a Christian Missionary Alliance church. And that was a mid-career change. So we've actually been in ministry for about 11 years. We were on the Yankton Sioux Reservation for 7 and then moved down to Florida, completely different areas, but such a joy, both places. But actually being on the reservation was probably what started my writing journey. And it was really pivotal. So it's been a blessing and it's always an adventure. You never know what's going to happen next.
Sounds like it. Wow, that is amazing. So you find time to write and be a homeschool mom. That's impressive. Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny how many authors out there are homeschooling moms. It's pretty cool when you start talking to them. Many of them have done it or they're in the throes of it right now.
That's true. I have interviewed quite a few. And again, I'm amazed how you all do it because my son went to a charter school and I did most of my writing while he was in school and then at night when he was asleep. So
Yep, that works beautifully. You have to get up pre-dawn And so you can have some quiet, or you're late at night pounding on the keyboard. You have to have that quiet time.
Exactly. So how did being on the reservation kind of start your writing career?
Well, it was quite an experience. My grandparents were actually missionaries in northern Canada with the Cree, and so I had grown up hearing stories of some of the difficult situations. And my grandmother had such a heart for women. She would tell us how she would hide women under the tablecloth that were escaping abuse, and we just felt called to go there, and so we did. But even having heard those stories, I was not prepared for some of the realities that I encountered. And in order to process it, I started writing fiction. And God just brought me a mentor. Her name was Jill Stangl. She wrote for Barber. And I started off writing biblical fiction and ancient historical biblical fiction, stories in the Bible. And as we know, the Bible has a lot of grit, there's pain, there's suffering, and yet God's redemption is so clear throughout the Bible and how he provides for people. So in order to process some of the stuff that I was seeing with women and children, I just had to grab a pen and paper and start writing. So in my journey with writing, my writing was actually quite gritty and dark at first, but having God's redemption. And then as time went on, I got softer and lighter and more hopeful. But it was very therapeutic at first to start writing. I just never thought it would go where it did. I ended up with Tamala Hancock Murray as my agent. She's been amazing. And I just handed in, I think, book 10 to Tyndall. I've had two with Tyndall and the rest with Guideposts. So it's been an amazing journey. And I never thought this would happen, but God took pain and turned it into something meaningful and beautiful.
Wow, that is inspiring. I think that's the first story I've heard where, well, no, I think you and Susie May Warren got started too on a mission, on the mission field as well. But most of the writers I
Oh,
speak with are, they start from youth. They're inspired by a teacher in grade school, But
that's
yeah,
right.
you and Susie May Warren, as you're the two authors I've spoke with who were inspired in the mission field. So wow, that's amazing.
I do have to say, I was writing and illustrating at age 7. My mom kept all those books. And
Oh.
I just grew up thinking that was the most impractical thing of all time. And so I went into science. So there is in my books, a lot of my girls are science girls. They love that. And
Oh,
that's actually true for this Stone Unturned. Bridget Littleton wants to study antiquities, but it's so fun to dive into the creative side
mm,
and just to let your creativity flow as opposed to being solely in the science. So it's a joy.
that's funny.
I'm
That's
blessed to
fun.
get up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
when you
funny.
get
I
to
have
write,
that too. Yeah.
yeah, it's a joy, right? It's you get up and you say I love my job. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I started off writing and illustrating stories too when I was a kid. I had one that I still probably will do, maybe like a comic book or something, a little space guy, and I wrote little funny stories with him. It entertained my friends. So that's neat that we both have that in our past. And so you did some professional illustrating too?
So that kind of took off. I've always loved to do art. When I was in college working on my audiology degree, I thought, oh, I'll have some relaxation and take art classes. And I trained with Bill Harbaugh at Minot State University. He used to illustrate for Revlon, very
Mm,
hyper realistic, kind of like the video game art, to give people some context. And he said something that was really challenging. And he said to me, I don't know what to think about you. He's like, you should not be a dabbler. This should be more serious for you, but you're not willing to push it. So that was quite challenging. But I was working on a doctorate and like I got too much to worry about. Why would I go into an art career? So I let the art slide for a long time, very long time. And then when I had kids, it was like, what am I going to do with my time to unwind? So I wrote and then I started drawing. And then the drawing, when I put on social media, attracted followers. And then I started getting email requests from women, will you illustrate my novel or my book cover? And Tyndall actually has one of my illustrations in No Stone Unturned. So it grew in the past 3 years where I'm booked out a year, and it's been such a blessing. But again, unexpected provision. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great. And your art is beautiful. I love seeing what you paint.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun. And that's funny because I had the opposite. I wanted to go into the sciences as well because my mom was a nurse and I had a real
Oh,
passion for it. So as an artist, and I kind of put that on the backside. And my art
wow.
teacher said, yeah, you could, be a medical book illustrator. This is back, in the 1980s when they had that. Now it's all computer, but back then.
Oh,
So I started to look into it and I was going to go and become a doctor and also illustrate. And then I took chemistry.
yeah.
And that's when the Lord said, stick with art.
Wow, your art is fantastic. And I
Oh,
hear you
thank
on
you.
chemistry. That's not my favorite either.
Yeesh. Yeah, and statistics and all that stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not left brain enough. I'm going to stick with the creativity. And my mom, she thought none of my kids are going to follow in my footsteps and be a nurse. I said,
Oh
oh,
my
no, I'm
goodness.
sorry. I just don't have it. I'm more of a right brain person.
No, that is so important that we understand that. I've been telling my daughters that. I don't expect them. They love to illustrate and to write, but I have no expectations. It's like, pray about it. Let the Lord guide you where He wants you to go. That's
Hmm.
most important. But it
So
is neat.
true. So
Yeah, it is.
true. Well, let's talk about your new book, No Stone Unturned. Tell us about this story.
Well, I wanted to write about a blue stocking Regency heroine. So it takes place in 1811. And the women who were blue stockings, it was a derogatory term at the time, but they were considered the academics. And they were actually responsible for a lot of social reform. They would have these kind of almost like a club. You'd come to the house, discuss big social issues or poetry or art or science. And it was just a really powerful place for these women to come and to hear each other and to be heard. So my character is actually, it's a Blue Stocking series with Tyndall. I have book two coming out next year. But for this book, No Stone Unturned, Bridget Littleton is a vicar's daughter and she is a spinster. So she's on the shelf. She has no dreams of getting married, but she does want to do something more with her life. And she's been a little bit hurt by the church, her father, in ministry. She lost her mom, and she feels overly responsible for her brother, who's always in trouble. So her family is very unconventional. And one day, her best friend, Abigail Perry, they discover Mr. Perry, the father, discovers a mosaic in the field. And this whole village is suffering. They need financial help. And Bridget thinks this is the answer to all our prayers. So she has these dreams of one getting published in an antiquities journal, earning some extra money so she can help her brother, who's always in trouble, and actually was gang pressed into the Navy and tried to stir up some trouble. So now he's in a jail on a floating hulk, and she thinks this is it. So the next, as soon as they find that mosaic, the young lord who inherits the next door estate, Hawthorne Abbey, Rafe Hawthorne comes and he has plans as well. And there's a bit of a land dispute, and he wants to grow more apples, start a brewery, and turn around his land because the crown is going to take it if he doesn't. His family has mismanaged it for decades. And there's a lot of mystery and darkness tied to Rafe's family. He doesn't want to return home. He just wants to get in, get out, and here's Bridget standing in his way. So it's definitely an enemies to lovers dynamic. So a lot of
Okay.
sparks. She's
Yeah.
your
Okay.
your feisty redhead, and he's a bit of a grumpy lord who wants to make his plans. And then there is an enemy lurking in the background. And so as the
Um,
discoveries, more and more discoveries happen, they have to solve some of the mystery that is associated with the land and with Rafe's family. It was a
Okay.
lot of fun to write. Yeah.
Sounds like it. Amazing. So tell us about these blue stocking women. How'd they get that nickname?
Well, yeah, so it's really kind of cute history. It was Benjamin Stillingfeet. He wanted to come and Fleet, not Stilling Feet, but Stilling Fleet. And he wanted to join and support the women, and he didn't have black stockings, which was, appropriate dress and much more formal. And one of the women that was hosting, I think it was Frances Burney, she said, don't worry what you're wearing, just come in your blue stockings. So there were men that actually supported these women, even though it's a bit of a
Oh,
derogatory term. And yeah, they started some of the social reform, when Britain later on addressed the slavery laws. Some of these women were actually kind of pivotal. They had mathematicians. I think Lord Byron's daughter, um, she was quite a brilliant mind and was part of some of these groups. So there were kind of fashionable. They started actually in the late Georgian times, went through Regency times into early Victorian. But it was really neat to see these women. It was actually surprising to me the more I got into researching about them, how much they were fighting for science and for art and for social reform. They were not sitting and worrying about fashion, they were worrying about bigger issues.
so true. And they saw a lot more of it than the rich elite did.
Yeah, yeah. And women, I did take a little bit of creative license. There really wasn't a vicar's daughter who found this mosaic, but it was actually found. I call the
Oh,
location Bramnor, but the real place, if any of your listeners want to travel to England, is in Bignor, England. And it was one of the first Regency museums. Queen Charlotte was even rumored to have gone and visited it.
hmm.
And they found so much stuff there. I don't want to say too much because I will spoil, but they found some fantastic and slightly chilling finds in the fields. And what the rumor was, it was such a huge. I'll share the spoiler. Such a huge palace that there was thought it could have rivaled Nero's palace in Rome, the Golden
Wow.
House. Yeah. So these antiquarians, they weren't called archaeologists at this point. They had kind of a negative connotation. So this was even before it was a real science. It was like they were grave robbers. And
Mm.
there were societies of young men. They'd go do their grand tour and they'd go and they'd get all these artifacts and bring it home like trophies. So there are a lot of men that will come into the scene with Bridget and Rafe. Some
Oh, that's
secretive
great.
societies. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
there
You
were a
must have had
lot of
go ahead.
there were a lot of people that were interested in antiquities and they damaged sites, they stole, they looted. So
Oh.
it didn't become a science until more of the mid to late 1800s.
No, I could see then if they were doing that, I could see why they had it had a negative connotation to it
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Well, so you must have had so much fun researching this. How did you go about doing that?
Oh, it was a blast. Well, I needed a break from biblical historical fiction, and I just started roaming the internet, which is, a rabbit hole sometimes.
Mm.
Sometimes it's the best thing or the worst thing. And I saw this thing on Vigner, and I told my husband, I said, "This is crazy. There is this vast, incredible underland, this whole world hiding in a sleepy little village. Can you imagine?" And so it just got the wheels turning in my head for a story, and Bridget just came to life. So
Oh, that's amazing. They're still uncovering so many Roman ruins to this day. It's just fascinating. How
it
I don't
it
think people
is.
realize how vast that empire was.
No, no, and actually, I was able to track down three Roman coins from the
Mm.
third century. I bought them from the Netherlands, and as I was looking online with different antiquities dealers, I was shocked at how much stuff is out there. I mean, people
Wow.
are finding it in their fields all the time, a ring or coins or a sword. And yeah, I mean, just to go to England and dig would be incredibly fun because it goes, Stonehenge and far beyond. The history there is fantastic.
Yeah, all over. Oh, that's amazing. And when we were in Rome, it's just so funny how Every day on the news, they would say, well, they had to stop digging for the subway because they found another ancient ruin. And their
I
law is
know.
they have to stop. So, oh, they found a mosaic or they found a bathhouse,
Yeah.
it's just fascinating.
It's really neat. In South Dakota, there is some special laws even to protect the Native American heritage. And so archaeologists have to go in and ensure that there isn't anything when they start digging as well. And it's pretty cool. Some of the prehistoric sites that have been uncovered, even up there, are just tremendous culture.
And I'm so glad that it's still being done because it's a fascinating part of our history that should not be lost, you know?
No, no, and that's Bridget actually has a little argument with Rafe. She says, we dig up the past, we study the past so we can understand, so we don't make the same mistakes. And
Mm.
Rafe's whole purpose in life is to hide his past. I never wrote about a man who had gone through some abuse. It's a very lighthearted novel, but he does have some things to uncover, and he would rather hide it and not think about it. And that's where the title No Stone Unturned comes from. It's examining the past and allowing God to provide real healing for you. And I had
Mm.
a pastor, we just loved him. He dedicated our daughters when they were born, and he was in South Dakota. And he said, Jason, in ministry, you're going to see this situation happen a lot. Things are going well in a church or in someone's life, and then all of a sudden there's trouble. And he said the best example he could give is in the fields are stones, and the frost pushes up the stones. And what do you have to do in order to plant your crop and to harvest? You got to get out there and take the stones out. And so Gary Wallman's words were echoing in my head as I was writing this book, that we can't let our past lie. We have to confront it and deal with it and release it to the Lord to have complete healing.
That's a beautiful theme running through your story. Well, folks, No Stone Unturned releases July 15th, which is just right around the corner. So it's available for pre-order through Tyndale right now. And can folks get it at Tyndale or do they have to go to Amazon or
It's available wherever books are sold, so they can go to Tyndale or Amazon or anywhere.
fantastic? Great. And then how can they get in touch with you?
So my website, and I have a newsletter as well, and there's sign up is there. It's at JenelleHovdeAuthor.com. That's probably the easiest way to remember.
Okay. And then folks can sign up and learn more about upcoming projects like what do you have coming next?
So my second Regency Blue Stocking, we haven't titled it yet. Hopefully I can release the title soon. It is about a girl that was taken from India. Her mother was a princess, and it's based on a true story as well. And her English colonel grandfather takes her when she's 6. And there's a mystery of what happens to her mother and her father back in India. And she is an astronomer. She loves to study the stars, partly from her mother, who would show her the stars at night on the rooftop of a palace in India. And there is some things with the East Indian Company and lots of kind of a gothic danger and mystery and family secrets to uncover with that one as well.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun writing this genre and doing some research.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's been a great.
And writing should be fun. It should be something
Mhm.
that you say, I love. Right now, I'm
Right.
working on my third book set in Italy, and so it'll be in Florence. And we went to Florence back in 2018, but I'm watching some documentaries and such about the different customs and everything. And like you said, I just love it. It makes me want to go
Oh,
back, of
wow.
course, but I just love it. That part of the research process, that part of the writing process is so fun. I love it.
Oh, and especially something set in Italy. Yeah, I would love to read that. That
Oh,
is such a fascinating place.
oh yeah, just so full of history and the food. That's the main
Yeah.
part is you got
Oh,
to
yeah.
write about the food.
Yeah, you have to. Or else are we going to, experience life, through the secondhand kind of lens? We got to have all that sensory experience of what the food and the coffee
Exactly.
is like.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, Janelle, this has been lovely. And I've been looking at your website and on your work, your illustrations on there. You're on the computer. Haven't tapped into that. My son is more like that. He does computer art, but me, I'm still a little intimidated by it, but I'll stick with my dragon drawing books for now.
They are beautiful. Yeah, you got to
Thank
do
you.
what you love.
Right. Well, thank you for joining me today. This has been so fun getting to know you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and you as well. Thank you so much.
Wasn't that fun to listen to Jenelle Hovde talk about her new book? Wow, she does so much research, and you can just tell she has a passion for it, for Regency now, coming off of biblical, historical novels. So remember, No Stone Unturned releases July 15th, so it is available for pre-order right now. So head over to her website too to sign up for Jenelle's newsletter so you can find out about all these future upcoming projects she has. So amazing. And you can see her illustrations there too. So beautiful. And I hope that you've been encouraged by Jenelle's story. And she used writing to help her cope. It is such an amazing coping strategy. And look what it did. It unleashed a passion of hers to tell stories. And we are better for it. So keep going on your writing journey, because like I always say, someone out there needs to read your story. And until next time, thanks for listening. God bless.